In this video, I'm going to be going over my exact process I've used to make over $100,000 with Amazon KDP and sell over 7,000 audiobooks. Now, I will be going over every single step and how I do it effectively. However, if you do want detailed walkthroughs and a complete course, you can go and access that completely free in the description below. You'll also have access to my complete Amazon Ads Masterclass, so definitely go and check those out as they're a very valuable resource. With that out of the way, let's hop in and go over my strategy. So it's very simple. I basically look for high demand book topics that people are already searching and already buying, and then I am simply making high quality books for that specific topic, and then I am launching these books effectively so they rank on page 1 and get seen by the organic traffic. I've proven that there's tons of traffic going to these topics. I then create the book that people are already looking for, specific to that topic. I then launch it properly so it ranks high on page 1 and gets seen by that traffic. It gets seen by people who are already buying it. And why this is effective is because 1, you're creating a book that people want to buy, and 2, you are putting it in front of people who are already looking for it. And what happens when you create a book that people want to buy and you put it in front of somebody who is looking for it, they tend to buy it. So over the last year of coaching people with Amazon KDP, there's a very clear pattern with the people who are struggling. And so why people fail with Amazon KDP is they simply don't have a book topic with high demand. They're not creating a high quality book that people want to click on and buy, and they're not launching it properly. So their book just doesn't get seen. And even if they do have a good book launch, their topic might not have demand. Or even if the topic does have demand and they have a good book, they didn't launch it properly, so it's not getting seen. And so the point I'm making is that there's always a reason why your book doesn't sell. And when you do nail these 3 things, when you understand this simple concept of publishing, your books will just sell. And so the difference between people who are struggling with Amazon KDP and people who succeed is people who struggle leave it up to chance. They simply publish a book and they just scramble around trying to get it to sell. But the people like myself and other successful self-publishers are letting the data decide what we do. Everything that we do is calculated and we know what's going to happen. We're looking for a book topic that people are already buying. We know people are buying it. We're creating that book that people want. We're doing research, we're reverse engineering, and then we're simply launching our book so that people can see it. And like I said before, if you create a book that people want, you put it in front of somebody who wants it, they're going to buy it. And then a majority of your sales will come from organic traffic. And even if your ads are unprofitable, you're still ahead at the end of the month. So let's go over the high content publishing process if you're unfamiliar. Basically, we're going to look for a book topic or keyword. This is one specific book topic that people are searching and already buying, and we're simply making a book to fit into that spot, to fit into page 1, and to be desirable for the people searching the topic. We are then going to do some topic research and create our book outline that actually outlines what the book is going to be. From there, we're going to find a ghostwriter to then turn our book outline into a completed book. Once our book is getting written, we can go and work on other things like our book title, our book cover, and any other accessories we may need, book descriptions, A+ content, and more. From there, we can start to gather our review. So there is a few things we want to do before we publish to get set up so that when we do publish our book, we can get 10, 20, 30, 40 plus reviews right away. And by the time we completed all this, hopefully our book will be finished. We can simply get it back from our writer and then turn it into a completed manuscript that we can publish on Amazon. And then from there, all that's left is to launch our book and hopefully get it ranking on page 1 where the organic traffic can see it. So let's get into the first step of my process, which is finding a book topic. So what exactly are we looking for? We're looking for specific topics, specifically for one person, and we're looking to solve problems. We want to solve one problem, so our book is for one person, and we're solving one problem for that person. We don't want to publish in the topic weight loss book and just create a generic book. We want to have something specific, like wall potties for women. It's a book for one specific person. When it comes to solving problems, we don't want to have a book that covers everything: day trading, options trading, crypto investing, and just cover a bunch of different topics. We want to have one book for one specific problem. Day trading for beginners. How to invest in crypto for beginners. Just focus on one topic and don't spread your book too thin. Because if a book is for everybody, it's actually for nobody. So what makes a good keyword? We want something that has high demand and reasonable competition. We want to have proof that books are actually selling. This is the number one thing we want to do. The first thing when we're doing keyword research is prove that books are selling. And we want to have reasonable competition. What I mean by reasonable is if a bunch of books have 1,000 reviews or more, we want to steer away from that. However, If a book just has low reviews, if a majority of the books that are selling well have under 300-400 reviews, that's perfectly fine and we can definitely compete with those books. But most importantly, we want a specific topic. We want somebody to search up their topic and see our book. They search up day trading for beginners. They see our book that's titled Day Trading for Beginners. We can clearly see where we want our book to rank. So what a lot of people do is they publish a book to Amazon and then go search a bunch of keywords where this book might fit and try to get it to rank there. This is not what you do at all. This doesn't make any sense to me. We want to go and find one specific search term, options trading for beginners. We want to prove that the books there are being bought. There's tons of traffic in this topic and people are already searching for it. And then we simply create our book and get it to rank on page 1. So what is my keyword research process? How do I find keywords on Amazon? So I'm going to look for book topics on Amazon, of course. I'm going to look through the book categories and just find any topics I can find. I'm then going to record them in a spreadsheet to keep track of them. Gardening for beginners, stock market investing for teens, money skills for teens, whatever I can find that's a specific topic that's solving one specific problem. I'm then going to validate those keywords based on some specific metrics that I've come up with over the last few years to prove that there actually is demand and not too much competition. So the important thing isn't looking for keywords. It's easy to go on Amazon and find keywords. There's lots of videos on that. I have lots of videos on that, as well as I do walk you through that in the free course linked below. But the important thing is validation, is actually understanding what to look for in these book topics so that you can publish a book, you can rank high, and you can actually make sales when you do. And so keyword validation is the most important part of the keyword research process. And if you nail it, that's how you're going to sell lots of books. It's the foundation of your Amazon KDP business. So let's go over the metrics that I look for when I'm validating keywords. So the first one is, of course, search volume. How many people are actually searching up the topic? So this isn't super important. You need either the BookBeam tool or something similar to see the search volume. If you don't have that, if you can't afford a paid tool, that's fine. You don't need this metric. However, it just is helpful to give you a better understanding of the search term. So the next metric under traffic and demand is we want to find winning books, books that are actually proving that we can sell to. So these are most likely books that have a bestseller rank of 50,000 or less and 150 reviews or less. So if it's 200 reviews, if it's 250, you can probably include it too. But the important thing is we are finding books with low reviews that are selling well. And we want there to be at least 3 of these because we want to prove that people are searching the topic and buying the books that are there. If there's no book selling or there's only one book selling, the demand has to be low because if there is thousands of people searching a topic, there should be at least 3, 4, 5 books that are selling well. From there, we want to look for dead books. So dead books are books that just aren't selling. They basically have 25 reviews or more and a very high bestseller rank. And so if there is a ton of dead books, there is a ton of books that aren't selling and not very many books that are, it's very clear that people aren't buying the books that are there. If there's more proof of books not selling than proof of books selling, why would we publish a book on that topic? So I will leave a link to my keyword research spreadsheet below, as well as once again, go and access the free course because I actually walk you through my entire process and how to use the spreadsheet. But for now, let's continue. So when it comes to competition and visibility, we want to look at the search results. Ideally, we want under 10,000 search results in our search term, just so we know that there isn't too much saturation. We then want to ask ourselves, do the books match the search term? Because if you go to Amazon and you type in diet book, you're going to see keto diet, you're going to see carnivore diet, Mediterranean diet, pescatarian diet. And so if we just create a diet book, there's no actual evidence that our book is going to sell. We should be publishing in, let's say, keto diet. And then we can go to that specific search term, see that all the books are related so we know the data we're looking at is relevant to that specific topic. The next metric we want to look at is a metric that I haven't seen many people talk about, and that is actually pages of books. Because the search results are one thing, but it doesn't tell the full story. We want to actually go to page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and go and see where the books actually die off. At what point do the books have no reviews? They have a million bestseller rank and they're just not selling, because that's where our book's going to show up when we publish on Amazon. If there's 20 plus pages of books that have 100 plus reviews, then it's going to be very saturated. But if there's only 4 or 5, and by the time you get to the 5th or 6th page, you're starting to see books on other topics, it's a very good chance that when we publish our book, that's where it's going to show up. And then from there, all we have to do is drive some sales to it, and it's going to rank on page 3, 2, and then eventually 1. but it's a very important metric because just the search results doesn't really mean a lot. Lots of books rank under search terms. And so the pages of books and actually looking through the pages and seeing where it starts to turn into a different topic is the best way to see the actual saturation of a topic. And the final thing is authority figures. We don't want to have too many authority figures in our topic. These are books that have 1,000 reviews or more, because if all the books that are selling are just authority figures with tons of reviews, it's going to be very hard to compete with those books. We want there to be less than 3 or 4. So majority of the sales are going to books that we can compete with that have low reviews, and it's way easier to sell books this way. So like I mentioned, I walk you through this exact spreadsheet and process in the free course linked below. So now let's get into creating our book. So the first thing we want to do is do some topic research. We want to find out exactly what books are selling, exactly what people are wanting when they search up the topic and what people are buying. We then want to create a book outline using ChatGPT to make it as easy as possible. From there, we want to find our ghostwriter. And then once we find our ghostwriter, we can have our book written. And then from there, like I mentioned, we move on to our accessories. So when it comes to topic research, I will have, of course, my topic research template available with the free course. However, basically what we're going to be looking for with the topic research is, one, we want to study the competitors. We want to look at their table of contents, the structure of the book, what is their offer, what is their book doing for the customer. We always want to look at the point A to point B. Where is the customer when they start the book? Where is the customer when they finish it? We also want to study the reviews. Studying reviews of books is one of the best ways to find out exactly what the customers liked, what they didn't like, and what your book should have and what it shouldn't have. From there, we should have enough information to start building out the table of contents of our book. This is just the overall structure of our book. What's chapter 1? What's chapter 2? And also, how can we stand out? How can we be more desirable than the competitors? Do we want to make our book faster, easier, better? How are we going to solve the problem for them more effectively than the competitors? So are we showing them how to make $1,000 investing in the stock market in 2 weeks? Are we showing them how to get 6-pack abs in 5 minutes a day? How can we be directly beside our competitors and draw more attention to our book and be more desirable? If we can immediately spark an emotion with the customer, more so than our competitors, they're going to be way more likely to click on our book. So from there, we can go into our book outline, which of course, once again, will be available to you in the free course. But basically, if you don't know where to start with your book outline, just start where you know. This could be chapter 1, this could be chapter 7. What do you know your book needs to have? And just let the book build off from there. What you can also do is use ChatGPT to help you out. And it makes it very easy, especially if you don't know where to start. You can create a complete book outline in less than a few hours. But the most important thing is don't overcomplicate it. Simply take your customer from point A to point B and nothing more. Just solve the one problem you're looking to solve and do that for them. Just give them what they came for. And then if you want to add any extra things, you can do that in other books. You can make more books in the series, but cover one specific topic for one book, take them from point A to point B and nothing more. So when it comes to finding a ghostwriter, I recommend using the platform, the Urban Writers. The reason I recommend them is they are very beginner friendly. They're very easy to use, and they simply walk you through the entire process step by step. So when it comes to finding good writers on the Urban Writers, what we want to do is post our job and then go and look at the freelancer list, the list of writers, and invite some writers to our job. Find writers that have good reviews, a good portfolio, find ones that seem like they're good to work with, and then invite them to apply to your job and pick the one you like the best. But most importantly, we want to give these writers a good outline. You do not need your ghostwriter to be an expert in your topic. You simply need them to be a good writer. And then you're providing a good outline with lots of resources, with lots of good information, the complete structure of the book. And a good writer can easily turn that into a good book, regardless of the topic. So now that the book is getting written, we can create the rest of our stuff, which is our book title, our book cover, our book accessories, and getting prepped for our book reviews. So when we do launch our book, we can get lots of reviews right away. So starting with the book title and cover, let's dive into the title. So when it comes to our book title, we want it to be emotional, hit some pain points, hit some desired outcomes. People buy emotionally. And if we can speak to their desired outcome or their problems they're facing, they're going to be way more likely to click our book. Alongside that, we also want to be understandable. We don't want to be too confusing or clever where we're losing the topic. We want our book and our book title to be clearly about a topic. And even if it is clever, hitting some sort of pain point, we want them to easily understand what the book is about. We need our book titles to be clearly what they want and what they're looking for, because people are searching Amazon very quickly, they have short attention spans, and we need to make sure the topic isn't getting lost. But most importantly, we need to deliver this information fast. We need our customer to have an emotion sparked and know what our book is about within a second or two, because how people shop is they're moving very quickly. They're not going to sit on our book cover and read every inch of it slowly. They're going to glance at it. And if they can't understand what your book is about and want to click on it at a glance, you're not going to sell books. So let's look at a few examples of some good book titles. So the first one is $1 Million Weekend, the surprisingly simple way to launch a 7-figure business in 48 hours. It's very clear what the book is about. It draws you in immediately. It's very desirable. And it tells you exactly what the person would want from the book. The surprisingly simple way to launch a 7-figure business in 48 hours. So the second one is how to day trade for a living. So it's very desirable, how to day trade for a living, how to actually do it for your full-time job, as well as it just really focuses on the topic itself. The topic day trading isn't getting lost, and the cover design really draws your attention to this specific topic. Cognitive Behavioral Therapy in 7 Weeks, a workbook for managing depression and anxiety. So once again, it's going to be a more desirable option than just a book titled Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Beginners. If they see one in 7 weeks, the customer can now picture their end result. And if your customer can picture the end result that they want, they're going to feel good. They're going to have a strong emotion toward it and want to click on your book. Here's another example I've used before, the one-page marketing plan. In this case, they're just contradicting what the person is expecting. They're expecting to have to make their first marketing plan. It's going to be complicated and busy and time-consuming. And this book completely debunks that, the one-page marketing plan. And they're immediately going to be drawn into this. Another thing we have to consider is, what are the competitors doing? In this case, if all the other competitors are just raised bed gardening for beginners, why would we expect to have a book that sells super well if we just slap another book that's titled Raised Bed Gardening for Beginners? We want to make sure we stand out. So in this case, we could title our book Veg in One Bed. So it still is understandable, but it does draw a bit of attention, as well as if we pair that with a cover that stands out, the customer's eyes are going to get drawn to it. So when it comes to our main title, we want to be clearly about the topic. We want to spark an emotion. And most importantly, we want to have the main keyword, not only for ranking purposes, so our book gets indexed properly, but just so our main topic isn't getting lost. But nothing more. A lot of people will try to make book titles that have 100 different keywords in them and rank in 100 different places. And that is not the most effective way to publish on Amazon. The most effective way is to find one specific book topic, create a book for the specific person searching that book topic, and nothing more. Just target and solve that one problem for them. If you only have the one main keyword for your one main book topic in your title, and it ranks where it's supposed to rank, people will buy the book. People don't care how much you have to offer. All they care about is, are you solving the problem or not? When it comes to our subtitle, all we're doing is further explaining what the book is about. More importantly, making it so it's exactly what they're looking for. The main title is going to draw them in, spark their curiosity, spark an emotion, tell them what the book is about. And the subtitle is further explaining what they want to hear. I'm going to solve your problem in this amount of time, or something along those lines. So here's another example of a great book title, $100 Million Leads, how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. So someone who would be in the demographic of someone who would be buying this book, I do sell products, I sell coaching calls, I have a publishing course. When I read this, it just tells me exactly what I want to hear in a very simple way. And so sometimes simpler is better. Just having an enticing hook, $100 million leads, and then tell them what they want to hear. How to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. We don't have to overcomplicate our book titles, as long as we focus on the core idea of our main book topic, whether it's options trading, day trading, gardening, whatever it may be. Focus on the main idea in your main title, spark an emotion with it, and then tell them what they want to hear and what you're going to do for them in the subtitle. So when it comes to actually creating our book title, we simply want to write down some features of our book. This is the first thing I always do, because I want to make sure that I'm going to be the most desirable option in the topic. What is the problem you're going to be solving? What is the desired outcome your customer is going to be looking for? A good strategy is things like 2 weeks, 5 minutes a day, use timeframes, use outcomes, and also who it's for. Who is your book for? Who is buying it? So we know we're targeting that person effectively. From there, I can simply prompt ChatGPT, can you give me 10 book title ideas based on this information? Input the information, It should be short, enticing, and understood at a glance. This prompt works super well. And what you can also do is add to this prompt, use the best-selling books on Amazon as reference under this keyword and type in your main keyword or your main search term. ChatGPT has access to the internet, and they can easily go to Amazon, look at the books that are in your keyword selling well, and build you a title based on that structure with your information and your desirable features. But a very important thing with this is when you do get some prompts back from ChatGPT, trust your first impression. It's going to be the only time you're looking at these titles for the first time, and just like your customers on Amazon will be seeing your titles for the first time, really take note of what ones spark your attention, spark your curiosity, and just draw you in immediately, because those are going to be the best ones to pursue and to optimize to your liking. So now let's get into our book cover. What makes a good book cover? We want to, of course, stand out. It clearly draws attention to your book and stands out from the competitors. We want it to be easily read. One of the most important things is actually having a book that can be read on Amazon in the little thumbnail. A lot of people miss the mark on this. And yes, if you're glancing at their book in person, you're staring at it, you can read everything. However, if somebody's scrolling on their phone, if they can't read your title very clearly and quickly, even if it's the best book in the world, they're never going to know. And how we do this is we want to build the cover around the title. Don't build a book cover and slap your title on it. Build the cover design around the title itself and allow the title to be the core focal point of the cover. The title should be the focus. This is how we can draw attention to it and make sure it's easy to read. And if we do have an effective title that's sparking an emotion, talking about the customer's desired outcome, and they can read it easily, it's going to be way more likely that they click on your book. We also want our book to look like a bestseller. We don't want to look like a self-publisher or a DIY book. We want to come across as a best-selling book. So when it comes to standing out, this is mainly done with your color palette, of course, but this can also be done with the design of your book. So in this case, $1 Million Weekend, it's loud, it's green, it has a cool illustration in the middle. Your eyes get drawn right to it. And what's important is not the color scheme or the design itself, it's what draws the most attention. Because as you can also see with these examples here, is a lot of these covers will have some cluttered illustrations on them. So for example, Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business, step-by-step guide. No one's going to look in and actually look at the illustration that's on there, the bar chart with the light bulb and the money bag. No one's going to spend that much time looking at your cover. So we want to be fast and to the point. Draw their attention, tell them what they want to hear, and have one simple illustration showcasing that. When it comes to being easily read, it's just how it sounds. We want to make sure the title can be easily seen and read by someone searching on Amazon. Just make sure the title is the focus of the book, and it's easier to read than the competitors. And finally, we have the bestseller look. We want our book to look like a best-selling author. And the best way to describe this is just normally one plain color, nice font. The cover is focused around the title, and normally there's one illustration describing what the book is about. Comparing this to DIY self-publisher books, you can see the very clear difference. And once you do see what the self-published book looks like, you'll never unsee it. Normally these are some sort of corny stock photo or AI image. It's going to be a banner along the bottom with the author name. It's going to be a long cluttered subtitle, and it's just a very outdated look. Specifically, if you look at the book How to Start a Business, if you look at the visual that's on there, that's the most cluttered and disorganized thing ever. Somebody who's looking to start a business would never look at this book cover and be excited to read it. They immediately would just get overwhelmed, and that's not what they're looking for at all. They want it to be simple, just like the $1 Million Weekend, the surprisingly simple way to launch a 7-figure business in 48 hours. So when you do start to look at books from the perspective of your customer, it's very obvious why it wouldn't sell. Why would the How to Start Your Business book sell when it's ranking right beside $1 Million Weekend? There's really no reason why somebody would pick that book over the other one, over the $1 Million Weekend. And it's very obvious why. So when it comes to creating a great book cover, my strategy is I will usually go to Fiverr and I will get multiple covers made. I will then pick which one stands out the best in my topic, which one is the easiest to read, and just which one I like the most. And I'll also look at my keyword and find out what color my book needs to be to stand out and just give that to my cover designer. I'll also give my cover designer maybe some examples of what not to do. I don't want these DIY style books, but the best thing to do is if you do get multiple covers made, you can pick which one you like the best. And a little hack as well is to get really cheap high content book covers. is you want to go to Fiverr and only get ebook covers made. The reason you want to do this is because ebook covers are very cheap. They can be as cheap as $10. And then you can very easily turn your ebook cover into a complete paperback cover on Canva for free. So I do have a video of how to do that on my channel. It takes like 5 or 10 minutes. So then you can get multiple covers made between $10 and $20. It's very inexpensive for lots of covers, and you can turn it into a complete paperback cover very easily. All right, so now let's dive into our book accessories. So starting with our pen name. So basically, to keep it as simple as possible, I always just use a pen name that relates to my topic. I'll go and use a pen name generator and just use something that makes sense. So don't overthink this, it really doesn't matter. Just do something that makes sense with your topic. So now when it comes to our book description, we will always use the ADA format. The ADA format is a simple copywriting format that stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. So we basically want to capture their interest with some sort of bold statement. We then want to make them interested in you and your book. We then want to highlight any desirable features of your book, benefits, solutions, whatever is the desirable selling features. And then we want an action. We want to inspire them to take immediate action and to buy our book. So basically going over a simple description I made in ChatGPT in this format is we have unlock the secrets of ChatGPT and earn your first dollar online today. So we have our attention, we have our hook sentence. Are you ready to harness the power of AI to transform your life? Your ultimate guide to AI success walks you step by step through mastering this revolutionary tool to boost productivity, generate passive income, and achieve financial freedom. Get them interested in your book. What exactly is it about and what's it going to cover? Inside this book, you'll discover we can then go into the desirable features, how to get started with ChatGPT, perfect for beginners with easy to follow instructions, business blueprint, how to choose, start, and scale your first AI business, monetization strategies, explore proven methods to monetize your ChatGPT business. And then you also have a bonus 200 plus prompt cheat sheet for effective prompting, and it just adds to the enticing deal of the book. So we have our attention, our interest, the desirable attributes, and then we have kind of the action, the call to action at the end. Whether you're an entrepreneur, freelancer, or simply curious about ChatGPT, this book gives you everything you need to turn a simple tool into an income stream. Don't wait, dive into the world of AI and take the first step toward online business success. Scroll up and grab your copy now. So this is a very common book description. You just want to walk them through the ADA format, but of course fill in your description to be about your book. Make sure you're including desirable attributes. Of course, depending on the positioning of your book, you can talk about how you're going to help them solve the problem in 2 weeks or less or something along those lines. And once again, you can use ChatGPT to help you do this. It's very effective and efficient. And then you can build off of the initial description ChatGPT gives you and improve it to your liking. So now when it comes to A+ content, it's one of the most important features of your book when it comes to actually selling it and having a good conversion rate. Because I personally believe the last thing that somebody looks at before they buy your book is the A+ content. So A+ content is a set of modules on your product page that you could add in after the fact. They're going to be images. And basically how we're going to structure it is a very standard layout is to have 4 modules that are 970 pixels by 300 pixels. This is a very standard A+ content. And once again, I do walk you through how to upload and create your A+ content in the free course. But for now, let's look at the design and how I do my A+ content to be effective. So basically, I will treat it like the ADA format. I will hook them in with the first module. I will then get them interested in my book. I will then cover any desirable attributes of it. And then from there, I will close the sale. So let's look at a rough example of this. So this is the A+ content for the book $1 Million Weekend. So what keeps entrepreneurs from becoming entrepreneurs? Frequently made excuses. So it goes into excuses people have. I don't have any good ideas. The truth, all you need to generate $1 million idea is a problem, and everyone on earth has those. So it's just a clever way to do it. It thinks of what the customer would be thinking and kind of stops those thoughts in its tracks. And then of course it has the close, the call to action. Learn the simple, straightforward steps to build $1 million business fast. It's desirable, it walks them through a path, and finally tells them to go to the buy button. It doesn't specifically say this, but it is implying. Something else we can do with our A+ content is showcase the interior of our book. So if we do have a nicely formatted book with lots of illustrations and diagrams that just help the reader out, include those in your A+ content. The A+ content is, in my opinion, where you want to be very visual. Show them what is inside your book. Show them the diagram. Show them the structure. Show them the pages itself. why is your book better than other books and what experience is the reader going to have. They've already read your title, they've already read your description, they're reading your reviews. You don't want to give them too much text on the A+ content. Just keep it simple and make it more visual forward. So here's a few A+ content modules for a book on beekeeping. Make your first colony the bee's knees, so little clever hook sentence that draws them in. It then explains more about the book. From buying your first bees to harvesting honey, this book has everything blossoming beekeepers need to raise a happy and successful hive. So it just kind of introduces them to the book and lays out what's going to be inside. And then from there, you can add in more images of the interior of the book and just explain the overall structure of it and the experience they're going to have while keeping it as minimal text as possible. So now let's get into book reviews. So the important thing with book reviews is you want to have systems in place so we can get our reviews right away when we launch our book. We do not want to launch our book and then scramble around for months trying to get the reviews. We want to have these systems in place so we can launch our book, and within the first 7 days, we can get 20, 30, 40, 50 reviews, and our book launch will be off to the races. So where do we get book reviews? So 2 common places you've probably heard of is Pubbie and BookBlaze. So I always say do some research on these sites before you use them. I personally use them, but I will say they are a gray area. They technically aren't against Amazon TOS the way their algorithms are set up. You're not doing any review swapping. You're not paying people for reviews. You're simply paying to use their service and then collecting currency and then trading that in for reviews. So it is a gray area. I still use them. I'm fine with using them, but I always say it is your Amazon KDP account. The safety of it is the most important thing. So if you don't feel comfortable using them, definitely don't. But basically what we do with these sites is you can use both. You can use one. You just want to build up your currency that you collect on these sites by leaving reviews on other people's books. And then once you built up your currency, you want to do this before you launch your book. Then when your book is live, you can redeem all of your currency at launch and get a ton of reviews right away. And the earlier you start doing this, the more reviews you're going to be able to get at your book launch. And then ideally, we can just pump these sites to get 50, 60, 70 plus reviews, and then just move on to the next book. And we're not continually having to use these sites all the time to get reviews. We can just pump a bunch of reviews right away and then move on to the next book. So by now, after you finish all your accessories, most likely your manuscript will be finished with the writer, and you can then finalize it. So how do we finalize our manuscript and get it ready to actually publish on Amazon? So what exactly do we need to do? We need to, of course, finalize our book with the writer. So just make sure the book is okay. Read through it one last time. It also would be good to ask your writer to include any resources they used in APA format at the end of the book. They most likely would have done this already, but I do recommend asking them for this. It's one less step we have to do, and they should do it for you. You can also add in a copyright page to your book. You can get your writer to do this, or just get a simple copyright page for books created with ChatGPT. And then finally, before we give the writer the okay, we want to do one last thing, and that is a plagiarism check. So we want to just check our book and make sure it isn't plagiarized too much. And we can do this with sites like Qtext or Grammarly. There is more sites as well, but these are 2 main ones. And all we're looking for is our plagiarism to be 5% or less. If our plagiarism is around 5%, it's most likely just going to be common phrases and sentences. It doesn't mean that they copied from the resource itself. It most likely will just be matching random sites on the internet and have nothing to do with the topic. So 5% or less is what we want to strive for. Once we've done that, we have our actual manuscript from our writer. We want to edit it. So there's a few ways we can do this. We can either have a light edit, which is just grammar, punctuation, spelling. We can either outsource this on Fiverr or do it ourselves with Grammarly. You can get Grammarly Premium. Simply add the extension to your Chrome browser and go through your Google document of your book and make any adjustments that it recommends. Or if you want more of an advanced edit done to your book, structure, line, copy edit, the flow, you can go to Fiverr and find a more premium editor. You can also do this on the Urban Writers as well and just tack it onto your package. But either or, if you want a light edit or an advanced, you can still outsource both of those on Fiverr if you don't want to do the work yourself. But if you don't mind doing the work and you want to save a few dollars, then getting Grammarly Premium and editing your book that way is your best option. And then finally, we want to format our book. So book formatting is one of the most important parts. It makes the book actually look like a book. And of course, if you have high quality formatting, you can showcase that in your A+ content. And it's going to be a very high quality, professional looking book that people are going to be drawn to. So there are 2 ways to format your book. You can keep it simple and do it for free. However, it's going to be a very basic format, but this is done through Reedsy Studio. So it's a very straightforward formatting software. You can simply upload your book to it, make a few changes around with your chapter structures, and you're going to have a completed book, PDF and ebook. So there are lots of videos walking you through how to do this. It's very simple. But the other way is to outsource through Fiverr. You simply want to go to Fiverr, search up some good book formatters, find ones where their portfolios are good, you like what they're doing with other books, and then get it done that way. So this is a great way to format your book because it is very high quality and it looks very professional. And the few $100s you spend now, in my opinion, will be worth it in the long run. And if you do showcase your book and the interior in your A+ content, your conversion rate is going to be a lot higher, and over time, you will make that money back because you got it done. So after you do all this, the end result is going to be a print PDF file and an EPUB file. This is just for your paperback book and your ebook. So the final thing we want to do is actually launch our book to Amazon. So what exactly is a book launch? When we publish our books to Amazon, nothing happens. We simply upload our book, it goes to page 6, 7, or whatever makes sense in the topic you're in, depending on the competition, and just sits there. So it's our job to actually tell Amazon that people want our book, people want to buy our book, and that's going to get Amazon to rank it on page 5, on page 4, on page 3, and more importantly, hopefully page 1. And if we are ranking on page 1, we're getting seen by the organic traffic. This is the best spot to be in. But without a book launch, no matter how good your book is, you will never get here. So we have to intentionally launch our book so we're getting the most out of it, so that we tell Amazon people want it and it ranks it accordingly. So what exactly is my book launch process? So basically, I want to make my book desirable. So when I upload it to Amazon, I want to make it the most desirable book I can. And this is done through 1, discounting the price. So I always put my paperback around $9.99 or roughly a 30 to 50% discount. But normally if you can do $9.99, this is the best place to be. I'll also put my ebook to 99 cents. I will then add my A+ content to my book, ensure that's done properly and looks super good, and make sure it is uploaded correctly. I'm then going to get as many reviews as I can. So under the marketing tab of your KDP dashboard, you can actually run a free price promotion if your book is enrolled in KDP Select. So I recommend doing that and getting all your reviews during your price promotion, as it will be a lot more inexpensive when it comes to redeeming your currency that you've earned with those sites. So once my book has at least 10-20 reviews, it's a discounted price, has A+ content, it is a new book that is very desirable, I can then drive traffic to it. So this is mainly going to be done through your Amazon ads. So our Amazon ads are basically bypassing all the organic ranking and placing our book in specific advertising spots so we can get sales. And the more sales we get, that's going to tell Amazon people want our book and it's going to rank it better. And then our goal is to inevitably rank on page 1. And then from there, we can raise the price. We can start to optimize our Amazon ads. Like I mentioned, I have my Amazon ads masterclass linked below. So definitely check that out if you want to learn exactly how I run my Amazon ads. But most importantly, when we are ranking on page 1, if we've selected a good keyword, we're going to be getting organic sales. So we're only using our Amazon ads to get our book ranking accordingly. Once it's ranking, it's going to get a lot of organic sales, and then we can optimize our ads best we can so that the cost stays low, but our royalties stay high because the majority of our sales are coming from the organic traffic that's already searching the topic. And so this is why having a good keyword is so important, because if there isn't organic traffic searching your topic and seeing your book, then all you're going to be doing is trying to get sales from your Amazon ads, which is almost never going to be profitable. If all your sales are only coming from Amazon ads, it's very, very difficult to become profitable unless your book has 1,000+ reviews. So we want to be getting that organic traffic from a good keyword and from good ranking so that we're in the clear at the end of every month, even if our ads aren't perfect. Even with my Amazon ads aren't perfect. They don't have a 20% ACoS. They still hover around a 30 to 50% ACoS, but I'm not too worried about it because at the end of every month, I have way more money in royalties than I do ad spend because of all the organic sales I got. So what is our end goal with all of this? Like we already talked about, we want to have a high demand book topic that clearly has people searching it up and buying the books that are there. We want to have a high quality book that is what the customer is actually looking for. It's desirable, it's enticing, it's easy to read, it stands out, it solves their problem. And then from there, we take that book, we upload it to Amazon, we make it as desirable as possible and simply drive as much traffic as we can to it, quote unquote, launching it which tells Amazon people want it, and Amazon's going to rank it on the first page. As long as we have a good book that people want to buy, as the organic ranking gets better, it's going to get more and more sales because more and more people are seeing it. We have a book people want. It has high reviews because we've prepared our reviews beforehand. It's high quality because we focus on making a book people want to buy, taking them from point A to point B, having a desirable title and cover. It's also desirable. It's speaking to their pain points. It has a competitive edge versus the competitors. We're not just having a simple stock market investing for beginners. It's going to be stock market investing in 2 weeks, how to create your full portfolio in under 14 days, just something that's more enticing based on the topic research we did. We also want to put it in front of people who want it. So we have a good keyword. We've launched our book properly so it gets seen. And most importantly, we cater to that specific audience. So now that we are ranking in front of people, we actually have a book that that person is looking for. That's the thing about Amazon KDP is people are very specific with what they're looking for. They're not just buying any book because it looks good. They know what they want. And if your book is in front of them and it's not what they want, even if it's a good book, they're not going to buy it. We have to create a book that people are looking for and put it where those people are. And after all this, if we've done it correctly, people will buy our book. Because why wouldn't they? We've let the data tell us if the keyword is good. Are people buying? Can we compete? We then created a high quality book that people actually want to buy, a good cover, a good title, taking them from point A to point B and being the most desirable option in the topic. And we then put that book in front of those people's faces. There's no reason if you do this properly that they won't buy your book. So we create a high quality book that people actually want and we simply show it to them. If you do this correctly, there's no reason why your books won't sell on Amazon. And this is all I do. I don't have some crazy complex strategy. I just find what people are buying. I create the thing that they want. I put it in front of their face. Because I've done it correctly, it gets good organic sales. So even if my ads aren't perfect, which they are not, it doesn't bother me because I'm getting so much organic sales and I'm in the positive at the end of every month. And I simply move on to the next book. And if you have 5 books like this, all with 50 to 100 reviews, they all make anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month, which isn't as hard to do as you think it is. That's how you build out a strong Amazon KDP business. So definitely check out the free course and free Amazon Ads Masterclass in the description, as well as you get access to a couple of templates like my book outline template, as well as my topic research template. So that is my publishing process. I've used it over the last few years to make over $100,000, sell over 7,000 audiobooks, and I'm going to continue to use the exact same formula into 2025. Once you do this once, you realize that there isn't actually that much competition on Amazon. You can blow past most of it, rank high, and make lots of sales. And so I just rinse and repeat this process as much as I can and slowly build out my business. But there isn't some crazy secret formula to selling books. If you understand the main principle in this video and just now start to get good at finding keywords, good at making books, and good at launching them, as long as you get better at those things, you will do well. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want no nonsense Amazon KDP advice, and we'll see you in the next one.